And we are recording. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this online short course, ACU101, Acupuncture Anatomy. I am Dr. Francisco Navarro. A lot of people know me as Kit Navarro. I am the Director of Training in Ateneo Traditional Chinese Medicine Center. So this is an online short course. We will meet for 4 Wednesdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Philippine time. And each session will be recorded. So if you miss out, may technical difficulties, don't worry. We will give the access to the recording naman. Okay? Without further ado, I will share my slides because I have a lot to show. Okay, this continue sharing. Okay, and the slides are moving. Wait lang. Nag-ingayan ako pinatay lang ako. Baka may background noise. Can you see the logo? Yes. Acupuncture Anatomy. This is the title of our short course. And this is our first day. We'll see for 4 Wednesdays. Okay. So, short introduction lang of the Ateneo TCM Training Center, which we're based in Ateneo de Manila, Quezon City. Okay, we've been around since, nakalimutan ko na, 2012, I want to say. Basta, because before we were under Chinese Studies program, we were under the Health Lab Institute, which is also under Ateneo. So ang total history namin was 2004. So we're over 2 decades long in the training program. We started with focusing on training Chinese medicine, focused on acupuncture and exclusively for medical professionals, doctors, nurses, PTs. But since then, we've expanded. There is a lot to be learned from traditional Chinese medicine that will benefit not just those who are professional, not just those who are whose objective is to help others, heal others, but one of the goals is to help ourselves. Self-care, okay? Self-cultivation of health, preventing disease. So we have a more varied, a broader population of students now. Okay. Um, because Chinese medicine is not just about acupuncture. There are other modalities, other therapies and practices involved, such as Qigong. This is one of our, Dr. Jake Aniban. He teaches Qigong. So when we have events, this was pre-pandemic. Ayan, may nagchichikong kami, easy chikong for beginners. Okay? Pandemic happened, we opened up online platforms, so we're reaching people, more people outside of Metro Manila, outside of the Philippines. Kaya kailangan sabihin 7, nandito ba yung tiga US natin? Kinarify pa. She, kinukulit ako kaninang 7 a.m. It's like, sorry, maling time zone. So nag-online na tayo. We're getting back into fully a lot of face-to-face, but we're not letting go of the online platform. We are doing a lot of, reaching a lot of people, educating about TCM. We're also now more involved. So ito, nag-medical mission kami sa Lipa. We have a medical mission this weekend sa La Union. We also have our free clinics within Ateneo ourselves. So syempre, naka-blue lahat. Okay. Um, Ventosa is one modality. We do acupuncture, we do moxibustion. Okay. But a lot of the focus of Chinese medicine is not just on the therapies, but more on the health practices and the principles behind all of these. So it also impacts things like diet, nutrition, sleep and rest, movement practices, exercise, Okay, mental health is a favorite topic when it comes to, the holistic approach that is traditional Chinese medicine. Okay. So let's focus now on today's topic. So ACU101 is basic introduction to acupuncture. One question people are asking, paano natin gagawin to puros online? Magkagawa natin to. Don't you worry. Okay. So,
True.
today's module is, ito yung, just an overview muna. We'll talk about what acupuncture is, what the mechanism of acupuncture is, the meridians, the points, the channels, the entire system of meridians and channels. So we have to introduce that. We'll look at it from the Chinese medicine perspective, of course, how Chinese tradition explains it, but we'll also look at it how modern medicine explains it, particularly in the field of, ang pinaka-interested diyan is neuroscience actually. Okay. And then we're gonna go second half. I have to check my timer pala. Where's my phone? I have to make sure that I'm keeping the time para, because the second half we're gonna go into detail and we're gonna start studying acupuncture points that you can already use after today. Okay? So, medyo micromanagement yan. Okay? Steph, micromanagement, details. Okay. So, acupuncture. It's fascinating. It is unique of all medical traditions all over the world. This is uniquely Chinese. The Chinese are very proud of it. Okay. In their system, because if you think about it, all over the world, there are different traditions, there are different systems of medicine, and there are definitely common areas like movement, exercise. Iba-iba nga mga movement, but everyone needs to move. Okay, diet and nutrition is fundamental. So everyone has that. Even things like massage therapies, iba yung European, iba yung African, iba yung Asian. So, okay. So what acupuncture is the fascinating thing that is unique to Chinese medicine. That it becomes the poster child, and then for better or for worse, it's equated to Chinese medicine. Okay. But that's why we're making that distinction that traditional Chinese medicine as a medical system is a lot of things. The science, the principles, the health practices, and acupuncture is only one of the modalities. Okay. That said, even within Chinese medicine, 'di ba, they evolved this, they developed this. Bakit hindi massage lang? Bakit hindi nutrition lang? Hindi ba pwedeng idaan sa meditation, chikong-chikong lang tayo? Ay, hindi. Na-evolve nila to this insertion of needles anywhere kung saan lang natin feel. Hindi. Specific points. Understanding that there are specific effects, impacts, specific benefits when we stimulate specific points throughout the body. Okay. So even in Chinese medicine, this is their peak evolution of therapy. Okay. I'll talk further later on in maybe next module about the history, but it's a way of stimulating the body. Okay? Pwede namang massage, pwede naman self-stimulation, just movement. Mag-qigong na lang tayo, mag-tai chi. Pwede rin. But an acupuncturist, there is someone else, the doctor, the healer, who will stimulate your body to elicit this regulatory response. Your body will react in a certain way, hopefully for the intended response. Like pampakalma ba yan? Pampagising, pampastimulate. Stimulate ng what? The heart, the lungs, the stomach. Pampa-increase ng appetite, pampapoop. Okay? Pampa-decrease ng appetite. All of these things, that's why even in Chinese medicine, it's considered the highest form, the first one. It's the most versatile, and they would argue it's the most powerful because of its versatility. We can do so many things with acupuncture. Okay. And the basis of acupuncture is, yun nga, using the needles to stimulate, but where? On the points that are on channels, points that are on meridians. We'll use channels and meridians interchangeably. um, so how did they figure that out? Oh, they did. They did a lot of research. Now, why not here? Why not 2 centimeters away? Why not 2 inches away? Kasi iba yung mangyayari doon. One point can increase your appetite, and then the point of a little distance away can decrease your appetite. Okay? So, ganun ka fine-tuning ang pwedeng mangyari. So, to understand the therapy of acupuncture, we're stimulating, we have to understand what is it we're stimulating, which is the meridian system. That's why this ACU101 is acupuncture anatomy. Okay? In a way, the what how we stimulate is secondary to what are we stimulating, which are the points on the channels on the meridian. Okay, joints and channels and meridians. So we have to study the acupuncture anatomy. This is an exact. This diagram is actually precise. It is the hand Chui Yin channel, okay, which is associated with the heart protector, translated as pericardium. Aaralin natin yan. Which means hand Chui Yin, heart protector. So it's the hand Chui Yin, meaning there's a leg Chui Yin. Okay. Also, it means there are other yin, as in yin and yang. There's a Tai yin, there's a Shao yin. We'll get into that. Okay. There are 12 most commonly used channels. There are 12 of them. So may hand, may leg, may tatlong yin, may tatlong yang. Okay. And then they're associated with specific organs in the internal organs inside the body. Okay. So by stimulating outside the body, we are regulating the functions inside the body. Okay. Hand Che Yin is to the heart protector or pericardium. Hand Shao Yin is to the heart. We'll get to that. Okay. May leg Che Yin, yes, also may leg Che Yin that connects to the liver. So it stimulates, regulates the liver system. Okay. Sample lang yan. Kailangan ba natin i-memorize yan? Yes. Okay. But it's not random. It is organized. There is a way to understand. So yun, I already introduced a bit of it. There are channels that extend into the arms, and there are channels that extend into the legs. Okay. There are channels that are yin, so associated with cooling, calming, grounding, okay, soothing. There are channels that are more yang, associated with movement, stimulating, warming up, heating up, more activity. Okay. They're all and these the 12 most commonly used channels are associated with one of the 12 Zhang Fu organs. Okay. So they're yin organs whose main functions are yin, calming, storing, holding, not moving, just holding still, holding in place. And then there are the yang organs that will promote movement, flow, transformation even. Okay. And if you look, by and large, there's lots of parallels, as in the channels run parallel to the body. Okay, to other channels. Yes, may mga crisscross, may mga crossover. But by and large, they are running parallel. Okay, so some of the channels primarily move the chi away from the torso towards the extremities, fingertips and toes, away, and some channels move towards the torso. So this is the secret. This is the mechanism of how acupuncture works. Understanding how the chi flows throughout the body. Okay. And then working with that. Acupuncture, even in a broader global medical we think of it as a natural therapy because we are working with the natural mechanism. Do we want chi, blood fluids to flow away from the torso, or do we want to collect it and consolidate it towards the torso? Okay. Do you want it to surface onto the skin or go deep into internal organs, into the bones, into the bulalo? Literally bones and marrow. Okay. Or pa-surface to expel. Okay. The body has these natural movements and processes and mechanisms, and that's what we're working with when we use acupuncture. Okay. And this is the thing with Chinese medicine is all of the therapies, all of the modalities of Chinese medicine also work with this system. So whether you're stimulating with the needle, meaning acupuncture, or let's say just the hands, okay? So Chinese massage, Tuina, is another major modality or group of modalities in Chinese medicine. And it's not just we're just kung saan masakit, or we're not even, or are we following the muscle groups, the shape of the muscles, the curves of the muscles, bones? Are we following bones? Um, yes, but also we're guided by the meridian system. Okay? Na when you have a therapeutic Chinese massage therapy happening, they're moving with the channels or maybe against the channels. Okay? That's what we're actually stimulating and not just the skin, the muscles, the fascia. Okay? Whether it's with with the hands, whether with tools, okay? Even so, passive movement, someone is moving your chi for you along the channels. Active movement, okay? Active therapies where I am going to move my own chi. So when we do movements like this, Tai Chi, Qigong, martial arts, okay, we are guided not by, oh, biceps, triceps, forearm, fingers. No, we're guided by the chi is flowing along this channel. Chi is flowing back this way. The chi is flowing down the legs, following this channel, or maybe in this, okay, in this other way. So that energetic system is what everything is about in Chinese medicine. Okay, in Chinese medicine, we call them the four pillars, representing the remind, four groups of therapies. So there is active movement, Qigong, Tai Chi, okay, that's one, the martial arts. There is some passive movements such tuina, massage, scraping, ventosa falls under for massage therapies. Then there's the specific acupuncture as one of the pillars. The last pillar is nutrition and herbal medicine. And in especially when it comes to herbal medicine, sometimes we explain the chemical, when you ingest the herbs, the herbal medicines, that sometimes we also explain the way the chemicals move through your body in terms of the channels. Okay. So, what are these channels? Meridians, points. Are they nerves? This is a diagram of the nerves and some of the spine and this is the major question. Okay. Especially with when Chinese medicine encountered the rest of the world, the Western world, the modern world, where we think of the nerves as the main electrical conduit framework connections of the body. Okay. But the idea of the nervous system, okay, is of course it's based in Western medicine, which also has its origins in no Western Greek, ancient Greek, and their paradigm is very different. Their paradigm is Newtonian, older than that, Aristotelian, Greek, which is everything has to be tangible, physical, documented for it to be real and valid. Okay. In the books that I shared in our Google Drive, um, the first book that if you'd like to read is Between Heaven and Earth. And one of the paradigms, they explain it very well there, is in the Western world, we look at the body as a machine. Body as a machine, physical parts. Okay. matter, tangible. Okay, so the nerves are valid because they are actual connections. Okay, actual physical, tangible connections. There is anatomy to them. Okay, but Chinese medicine, and in a broader sense, Asian medicine, is not limited to just, oh, there has to be a material, structural connection for it to be valid. We think we're not as Newtonian, we're more Einsteinian quantum physics. We consider energy. We think of in terms of not just matter, but also energy. Things that flow, things that are connected not necessarily by structure, but by function, by process, by nature. Okay. So things are connected, even if there is no structural nerve connection. Okay. The other major medical system of Asia is Indian medicine, Ayurveda. They think similarly also. It's not about the nerves or the bones or the blood vessels connected. It's about energy that flows, even if there is no structural connections. So the problem, so in between heaven and earth, they compare if Western medicine sees the body as a machine, in Chinese medicine, we see the body as a garden where hindi ba connected yung sun and yung plants? Not structurally. Okay, what about the air, the water? What about the air? What about the water? We don't see structural material, at least in the solid form, but we know that air is connected all throughout. What about the water from the watering can and then the water moisture in the plants? Oh, walang solid material structure, but we know they are connected. Okay. This is how we see things. So one argument in when we talk to a old school neurologist, neuroscience, and then Chinese medicine with our channels and meridians and chi flow. Kasi, ba't marami kayo nakikita na wala naman? 'Di ba? There are three main nerve branches in the arm, but there are six meridians according to Chinese medicine. So, ano yun? Gawa-gawa nyo lang, invento. May multo kayo nakikita. Technically, yes, we are seeing more than you because we're also seeing the flow of energy, even if there's no material structure connected to it. Okay? Of course, there was some scientific revolution in the fields of medicine, the late 90s to the early 2000s. We have the advent of better technology where we're less Newtonian and more Einsteinian quantum physics. We have MRIs, we have CT scans, MRIs, and we have functional MRIs, real-time capture of if I prick you in this toe, your your eyes light up, your pupils will dilate or shrink, and the visual centers of the brain light up. Okay? So they were doing experiments like this na structurally, parang di naman connected. Why is that point on the toes impacting the eyes? It's connected somewhere in not the brain. It's connected somewhere in the nervous system. So much so that, oh, we can document process, function, energy. We now have the technology. We figured out what the Taoists and the Chinese scholars were discussing 2,000 years to plus. Okay, more than 2,000 years ago. Okay. We can see connections in real time. If we check a functional MRI, this point in the toe is triggering the visual centers and then making your eyes clearer, or pupils dilate, making light enter the eyes more. If you look at Chinese medicine, the ancient text will say, yeah, the point on the toe, it's called Guangming. It brightens the eyes. Okay? Na na-discover na-invento na. Not invent, discover. Okay? It actually, when acupuncture crossed over with neuroscience, what happened was neuroscience expanded. Okay, modern neuroscience, very modern neuroscience will say yes, we see there's more to the nervous system than the actual structural nerves that we know of. That old diagram, as complex as it is, eto, may kulang pa yan. There's so many more connections that if we're gonna just limit ourselves with the actual structural connections, kulang pa rin yan. The Chinese may have had a better idea na even if there is no actual nerve, there is some energetic connection to it. Okay? Which leads us to the explanation. Okay? This is a bit more modern, globalized society. East meets West, ancient meets modern explanation of what Chinese medicine, or what the Chinese medicine have always been explaining, or at least trying to explain. Okay. Oh, and then another thing is embryology. Okay. Studying the development from a zygote, from a one-celled fertilized cell, becoming more and more cells. You're not even a fetus yet. We have to understand. Now, you see, the idea is when you're a one-celled organism, everything is connected. But then even as you split up, everything is still connected. Bakit? May nerve na ba between one cell and another? Wala pa. But there is some kind of connection that is not made of matter, organic matter, structural matter. So energy, molecules, chemistry, which is also a form of energy. Okay. So what are the meridians? What is the acupuncture meridian system? So it is a primordial network of energy. Okay. Primordial meaning, how did, when you were one cell and then you split, how did they know that you are still the same organism? And then you became four and then became eight. There was still connection even as early as then in the embryological state. Okay. So, energy network, pwedeng chemical energy, pwedeng heat energy. Meron na bang electrical energy? Maybe not. Okay. When we're bigger, pwedeng may electrical, may thermal energy. But most probably it is more subtle, more subtle level like heat or chemical energy, or more on a quantum physics level, which is even smaller. Okay. So there is this primordial network of energy, which one of its roles, what it's the framework of how we evolve. Okay. Now, why aren't we a ball of cells? Because there is flow, there is extension outward. And it starts as an energy flow outward, which then becomes the basis of everything structural. That's the next, that's the next, So we develop in this way, but even by separating, we're still connected. The energy framework, this network that is the framework upon which we develop, is the precursor of actual structures. Nerve, sinorten ko na. Nerve, vascular, meaning blood vessels, circulatory system, muscles, including tendons, ligaments, fascia, and skeletal structures, so bones and marrow. That's why everything runs parallel. Okay? Na everything runs pa. Oh, meron ba tayong bone dyan? Sige. Dapat may nerves din tayo dyan. Sige. Dapat the muscles follow that also. Wait, may kulang. Nutrition and waste blood vessels. They all run parallel to each other. How did they know to run parallel to each other? How did we build the matter, the highway structures? Because we had an energy framework to begin with. Okay, the energy framework came first, and then upon which we developed all the matters. Different, iba pa yung nerve, iba pa yung muscles, but they still run the same way. And that energy framework still exists even as we've developed. Full-grown adult, meron pa rin, it's still there. And most importantly, we can activate it. We can stimulate that primordial energy network. Okay. For what purpose? Oh, when we activate it, if we activate those connections, we get a response. For what purpose? For regulation. The most basic function of all points, there's traditionally there's 365 points, there's more than 360 points now, and they have different functions, but the one thing you can say that they all do is they just regulate. Okay? In medicine, we say, iba pang upregulate, downregulate, do we stimulate, or do we calm down, inhibit? Iba-iba na yon, but they all have that regulatory function. Okay? So the ancients would also, the ancient Chinese think of it like as keys. Okay, so say, as in, oh, if we turn this knob, if we turn this key, we will have this function. If we turn it the other way, we will have the opposite function. Okay, in modern man, we think of buttons. Diba? Press this button, it will trigger something. Okay, and it's not random. It's actually quite organized. Na, oh, this is the stomach channel. This is a stomach point on the stomach channel, and we call it that because eventually it connects to the stomach internal organ. And what are the functions of the stomach organ? Oh, it has to warm up and heat up in order to digest. And then after it's done digesting, it has to cool down, calm down. It has to move the food from the mouth to the, so which of the many functions are we going to stimulate? Okay. Acupuncture generally does not do things that are not natural. Like, can we make the food go from the stomach back up to the mouth? That's not how it goes. Okay. I've had college students like, sir, can you make me not sleep for so many days para matapos ko yung thesis? No. If I do acupuncture on you, makakatulog ka nga eh. Kung kailangan ng katawan mo na matulog, makakatulog ka lalo. So we're not doing anything unnatural or against the natural order of things. Are we good with this, with this big statement? Dr. Ria, information overload na ba?
Kaya pa. All
Kaya pa,
good.
kaya pa. This is, yun nga, this is modern neuroscience trying to explain what the ancient Chinese have been talking about ever since. Okay? So ayun nga, I made the point that if there's anything that grew and expanded, it was neuroscience. Okay? Now, because here's the thing, a bit of in the recent history, yung sabat na in the late 90s and early 2000s, modern neuroscience was looking into acupuncture. Ang modern medicine kasi we want a fixed theory, neatly packaged, one explanation for everything. Okay. So they were saying maybe if we stimulate a point, it will go up a nerve pathway into this part of the brain and then send the signal back down. Okay. So someone proposed one theory like that. Someone said, no, it's not that pathway to this part of the brain. It's actually in the midbrain. Okay. And then someone else will say, oh, no, it's in the lower brain. Some say, oh, it doesn't even reach the brain. It's on the spinal cord. Some will say, it's not even in the spinal cord. It's just somewhere in the nerve plexuses, the visceral nerve plexuses in the abdomen. Some will say, hindi nga eh, local lang. Kung dito masakit, tinusok mo dyan, may impact dyan lang. It doesn't even, and that we need one explanation for all things. It kind of broke down because you have 365 plus points and they all work differently. So, hindi pwedeng one explanation for everything. So, some work only locally. Kung dito mo tinusok, dyan lang yung effect, di tapos. And yet, even that's not, sometimes may effect dyan, but then may effect along, up to where? Up to the nerves, nerve plexuses, sometimes may impact up to the spine, and then lower brain, midbrain, higher brain, okay, and more. There were a group of theories which like, is it neurotransmitters, quick acting molecules? Some points work on neurotransmitters, yes, and some don't. What about hormones? Hormone regulation, does it cause the endocrine organs to secrete hormones? Some points do, some points don't. Okay? So, mahirap to have one unified because you have so many points that have so many functions in the body. Okay? So we gave up on trying to have one answer for all. So it's still, so yun, that's what I also am saying that neuroscience pa yung nag-expand. Now, let's accept that some things can be related to neurotransmitters, some are hormones, some are nerves, some are on the spine, some are on the brain, okay? And hindi lang unique rin, may mga combination. In the same way that there is no one thing to explain how the body works, how so many different parts of the body, so many functions of the body work. Diba? Molecules, chemical, neurotransmitters. Okay. So looking at how all these nerves throughout the body, this is not a picture of nerves, it's actually a picture of trees. Na modern neuroscience took a step towards the holistic, the natural approach of Chinese traditional medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. Na mas madali intindihin in terms of, oh, this is what naturally happens. Things move, things flow, things are connected as things are in nature. Okay. How do the Chinese explain it? Well, that's also another problem because the Chinese have their own framework and they explain it and it makes sense within their own framework. Some of the students here tonight are my students in the 4-year training program of Ateneo TCM. Okay, so they know this. Na part of the journey, you can't be just outside and translating everything from the outside. It's not all gonna make sense. You really have to go into what is that framework? What is their language? What is their worldview? How do they understand the body? When we say it's natural, it's holistic. Okay. How did the Chinese explain it? The chi flows through the body like water flows through the earth. May mga ganyang statements na very poetic, very Taoist, pero medyo kamot ulo na, ano ba? Sometimes the flow are like streams, sometimes it's deeper and slower and more powerful rivers, and sometimes the chi flows like the ocean. So within that paradigm, it makes sense that our body, like water, flows strong, mild, deep, shallow, quick, slow. Okay. Sometimes the flow is more like tides, high tide, low tide. Sometimes it's more linear, streamlined, like a stream. Okay. And all these channels, iba-iba yung flow. Okay. And what we do, not just with acupuncture, but also with all health practices, movement, breath work, meditation, mind work, when we nourish ourselves with diet, when we rest, when we exercise, okay, we're just regulating the flow of things. Pat, we're getting philosophical. Is your mind separating? Nag-astral travel ka na ba? Diba? We need to connect to a certain degree of like that creative thinking, metaphysical thinking, because that's how things are, 'di ba? Kawawa naman yung mga neuroscientists na hindi walang nerve diyan, kailangan may nerve for us to see. Hindi na eh. We have to expand that way of thinking na rin eh. Okay? Which brings us to other things like Randall. Eto, mga physio, dry needling, di ba? It's like, isn't acupuncture dry needling? It's like, ay, ang layo. Dry needling is very physical, structural. What's happening with the muscle? What's happening with the joints and tendons? Okay. Do we consider the energy flow? Do we consider the far-reaching impact maybe into the internal organs? Not really. 'Di ba? So, although you can say that maybe the ancient Chinese, when they started, they didn't know it was acupuncture yet. It must have been the primitive ways, dry needle. Saan masakit? Dito. Matigas muscle dyan, tusukin, stimulate kaya natin. Okay? Sige, tusukin natin dyan. Uy, gumalaw yung muscle. Nag-let go. O na-relieve yung spasm, na-relieve yung pain. Okay. 'Di ba? That's still valid. That still works. But that's not all of it. Ang dami pa nangyayari. Okay? Trigger points, well, sometimes that's connected with dry needling. I'll get to trigger points. That's actually the simplest way. Saan masakit? Where does it hurt? Oh, what's going on here? What's the local effect? Or what's the local situation, the local condition? Let's impact it. Let's treat it locally. Okay. Do you want needle? We can use a massage tool na lang. Pressure. Let's use one of those scraping or pressure tools. Or hey, I'll just use my elbow. Okay. We can also use things like heat or cooling. Okay. We can use chemicals like liniments and some, di ba? Maybe some mentholated, methyl salicylate, some cooling. See, yun. But the impact is local. But we also know that maybe the impact is more than just local. Okay. So which means you can level it up if you know how things are connected. It's not random. There is some there, and we will study that. There is a system, there is a logic to these things, and we will be studying that. Okay. So when you think of massage, there's so many tradition. I brought it up kanina. Traditions of massage, we can think of it just as local. We can think of it just as structural, muscles and tendons and fascia. But there are traditions of massage such as Thai massage, shiatsu, which also have some basis in Chinese medicine where, oh, shoulder, oh, but we can't touch the shoulder because it's so painful or inflamed, or maybe there's an infection there. Maybe we'll stimulate you somewhere else, which based on the maps, we know have connection. Okay. Now, oh, we can't touch you in the shoulder directly, then let's hit you somewhere else. And then the shoulder is freed. Okay. Oh, is there a direct nerve, a direct muscle group, fascia tendon connection? Maybe not. And yet we will find a way how they're connected. Okay. There are other also, ito more subtle. There is healing qigong, tai chi, healing qigong, reiki, okay, ling chi, where it's energy movement. Okay. Oh, we have some people here who are in reiki. Steph, hi Gab. Okay. But even this is based on a map, a system of energy. Can you heal without knowing the map? Yes. Will you heal better, more efficiently if you know how things were connected? That's the point. Well, that's why we're here. Okay. Um, I mentioned Ayurveda, the concept of chakras and auras. That's Indian. But that system, the way that system works is similar to how we think of things also. Energy connections, passageways, okay? Areas of responsibility. Some are overlapping, okay? Some will, of course, one will impact the other and everything is connected to everything else. So even in Indian traditions, we think similarly in terms of energy, not just matter. Okay, this is my slide reminding me that we are going to take a break. Do we have
Question.
any questions?
Kanina po ba, Doktor, meron kayo pinapakitang mga slides?
The whole
Kasi
time.
po,
Hindi ba
wala,
lumalabas?
wala po kaming nakikita eh. Tinanong ko po kanina kung ano, wala po kaming
The whole
nakikita.
time?
Yes, the whole time it's just blank.
It's just me talking. Am I that entertaining?
Baka depende yan.
Ano
Pagka
yung
kasi
Just
sa
slides? Meron,
phone,
meron
Hindi naman
slides.
pagka sa
disconnect.
phone, mahirap makita yung slides.
Wait, there were, oo.
Naka-laptop po ako eh.
I saw
Naka-laptop
there
ako.
were slides.
I was
There were
asking kung
slides.
meron kayong slides. Hindi ko po makita
Ganun
yung
naman
slides eh.
ako. Ang
Nasa
pogi-pogi ko
laptop po
pala,
ako.
entertaining kahit na mukha ko lang nakikita.
But we could see the slides. We could
Baka
see
Doc,
the
it's your
meron
ano,
ako.
it's your Zoom.
Ako po wala. At least maybe just my screen.
Maybe you have to find your
Meron,
settings.
meron ako, Doc.
Akala ko pa naman ang pogi-pogi ko.
Oh,
Sige. Pinaghirapan ko yung slides na yun. At
Okay.
Ma'am
Slides
Beng,
with your
just
face,
look
actually.
at the recording na lang. Sige. May Mercury retrograde kayo.
Yes, yes po.
Mm.
Thank you po.
Watch the recording. May slides yun.
meron.
Okay. Questions. Let us pause the recording. So I want to greet Miss Monica of Manila, my teacher in astrology. Somebody's asking, as I mentioned, Mercury retrograde, if I believe in astrology. I have two answers. One is even Hippocrates, Aristotle, Hippocrates was talking about a good physician must understand astrology. And that is also true in the Chinese medicine tradition, which is we are connected to nature on so many levels. There is the very obvious connections to our environment, to what what comes to our body, what enters our body, including what we eat. We're really putting it in our body. Physical, material, but also non-material, like social interactions, emotions, okay? Chemical, environmental, all of this impacts our body. So we must have some understanding of the cosmos within and the cosmos without. Okay? May nagtanong, is this you, Sam? Sam is a medical astrologer. No, it's not you. Asking about what about Chinese astrology? Oh, yes, that's another system. I'm not well versed in that. Okay. And I think I should be. Okay. But I am, I'm studying Western modern medicine. I'm studying Chinese medicine. So I'm studying Western astrology. Sasama pa ba natin ang Chinese astrology? Sandali. Ay kong ginagawa. Oh. Kaya may personal life pa ako.
Next time daw, Doc Kit.
Patsi.
Sa susunod.
Hmm. Sige.
Yan.
Here's a nice question from Pat. Meridians, do they still work if the patient is paraplegic? Okay. So, if, diba, it's a question of matter and energy. As humans, we are matter and energy and everything else in between. So are the connections still connected enough so that functions can happen? Okay. So one extreme, let's say amputation. No, samurai sword cuts you and your arm is away. The matter is broken, the energy is broken, and yet some people say they still can feel the. So is the energy totally broken? That's one extreme. Paraplegic, are we talking stroke, where it's more like a short circuit, meaning an electrical disconnect? And yet, is it totally disconnected? Can it be repaired? Can it be reconnected? Okay. Are we talking something like a spinal injury where there's a structural disconnect, structural breaking? Okay. T7 down. Wala na. Okay. 'Di ba? The matter is broken, can the energy still repair? In the same way the energy is broken, can the matter still repair? my answer from the TCM perspective, which is case to case. Why don't we diagnose? Why don't we try? Oh, we know that the matter is broken. Can we still stimulate with energy? Let's try and find out. Okay, knowing that if it works on one person, it doesn't mean it's going to work on somebody else. Okay, knowing that if it doesn't work on someone, and it's not going to work to everyone. Hindi. Na yun, the matter and energy, how much is there still connection? Is it enough for function? Case to case. Okay. Parang, parang ang tinanong mo, can a person heal? Ang hirap sagutin, no? Dr. Ria, can I ask you a question? Can a person heal?
Of course.
Eh, Matik isn't the safer answer. It
It depends on
depends on so many things. On
many
so
things,
many
yeah.
things. So let's figure out your specific case, Pat. T7, mataas nga. Oo. But let's try. And we know that, if, working from the paradigm of body as a machine, the structures are broken. We need them to be repaired for it to work. If we know that that paradigm is not going to work, then use a different paradigm. The energy is still flowing. Is it? Is it flowing enough? Is it still connected enough? And let's try and then diagnose and figure out. Diba? And even within this system, there are many ways, there are many methodologies to make things happen. Ay, ang hirap na tanong. Thanks, Pat. Okay. We need your notes. We need your micromanagement brains to come in. And those of you who did some advanced reading, good. If not, and then let's see, we'll make this work. I will share we're changing gear ng konti. Where is lang? Oh, it's still no. So the next half, and for every module, we're going to be doing this for the second half, which is continue to share. Okay. Miss Evelyn, can you find your settings so that you see the slides? So the first half, I gave you an overview of how we look at things, principles, and understanding the mechanisms, how things work. Now we're gonna go into detailed examples, and that's why please have your notebooks ready, because we're gonna have details. And in understanding the examples, it will reinforce what I explained previously of the big pictures. Okay. So I'm going to teach you a point. He, ku, yan. Here's the visual. For precise location, and this is in your notes, so you can read this after this. You can replay this video anyway. Okay. So Heku is on the first web. The first web between the thumb and the forefinger. Heku translates, one of the translations, he is to come together, to converge. Ku translates as valley. Okay, so this first web is a big valley. Okay. Now everyone please do this and then start feeling in this first web. We're starting with this point. Why? Because it's a very big point. You cannot miss it. You don't need a needle to stimulate it. Just massage it. Okay? So there will be softer parts and then there will be more firm parts. It might even be tender depending on your condition, depending how stressed you are. Definitely if you're stressing and you're then it's gonna be tender. So it's in the first web. It's very big. You can't miss it. Even this palpating to locate it, massage it, will already have some effect. Okay. Helku is a very powerful point. It has so many titles, it's so many explanations, but it's a very powerful point, and it's a major point to treat everything in the head and neck. Helku is, according to the WHO, syempre modern medicine, global, they had to standardize things. So they gave it a label. Okay, but we're coming from a Chinese medicine, more traditional perspective, which is Heku. This is what it's called. If we translate it, there might be variations to the translation. Joining valley, coming together valley, convergence valley, valley of cooperation, valley of coming together. So many, but that's the concept. Because this is where the valleys come together. They call this a valley. This big first web joint is a valley. Okay, in between the bones, the fleshy part, this is that valley. WHO nomenclature gives it a number, large intestine 4. Okay, nawawala yung meaning. Okay, if we just stick with just the number for facility eventually, but then to understand how points work, the nature of these points, we have to go deep, do a deep dive. Okay. They call it large intestine 4 because it is on the large intestine channel. Okay. So here's a rough diagram of it. We don't have to really understand, but just look at the Hilku is from the first web of the thumb all the way up the arm on the outer elbow, all the way into the face. Okay. That is why this is a major point for all problems of the face, head, and neck, and technically through the arm. So also problems of the arm, shoulder, elbow, up to the thumb. Of course, Hulku will have a local effect on the thumb. If you have any thumb problems, okay, arthritis or strain, you do it on your dominant hand. If you've been writing a lot, then Hulku is going to be very reactive, responsive. But then, yun nga, is the response coming from a thumb strain, muscular strain in the hand, or is it coming from the elbow, on the shoulder, on the neck? It will all respond on Helku. Okay. Let's look at the slide. Focus on, it's called the large intestine arm yang ming channel. Kanina na bring up natin Chue Yin. So this is yang, the other was yin. This one is an arm channel. Okay. Okay. And it's connected to the large intestine internal organ. So the flow of the qi along the arm yang ming channel eventually goes inward and connects with the large intestine organ. So another reason this point might be very reactive is if have you moved your bowels? Okay, if you're constipated, if you haven't moved your bowels, oh, this might be very reactive. And massaging it right now might be stimulating your internal organ, saying, Hoy, do your work. It's time to flow, time to move. Okay. Of course, if your large intestine is fine, then wala lang. It's like, yeah, I've done my job. Don't stress. Don't kulit me. Okay. Herku is large intestine 4. It has a special function, which is it's the yuan point of the arm yang ming large intestine channel. Yuan means source energy, okay? Which means it taps into yuan qi. It taps into a deep source of energy to replenish, to fill, to activate the large intestine arm yang ming channel and also the large intestine internal organ itself. So yun nga, if we look at the internal, if your bowel movement is sluggish, you haven't been moving, you're constipated, activating this will bring energy to your large intestine, will recharge, okay? Bring some battery life into your large intestine. If we look at just the channel itself, you have weakness in the thumb, weakness in the elbow, weakness in the shoulder. Well, let me move a slide back. Rewind slide. Oops. Oh, yan. Yeah. Weakness anywhere along the channel. Any deficiencies, including the neck, the head, the face, this can recharge that. Okay. The thing with large intestine 4 is because it promotes the large intestine function, and the main function of large intestine is to expel, to dispel, to what's the word I'm looking for? Disperse. Okay. It's a very good, it has, the theme is to disperse, to let go. Okay. So it's actually a powerful point to let go tension, to let go excesses, even if it's not in the large intestine. So it could be along the channel. So are you clenching your teeth? Okay. Do you have stiff neck because of tension? Physical tension, psychological tension. Do you have a tight shoulder from overwork, stress, even injury, inflammation? It will disperse all of that just from Helku. Okay. It's so powerful that it's not limited to the channel and it's not limited to the uh, not limited to the channel, not limited to the internal organ. Oh, wait. Question. Can we stimulate this point for babies, kids that are constipated? Yes. Try. This is a good one. Okay. There are also some points in the abdomen. We'll teach that eventually. Okay. But yun nga, it is better, since it has a powerful dispersing nature, it is better for excess conditions. Stress, clenching, spasm, overwork, inflammation, Helku will disperse all of that. Mika's asking, when you say face, we're talking about muscle pain, local problems like breakouts. Oh yeah, so you have pimples along the Helku channel on the face, along the large intestine channels. That's considered inflammation, infections even. Okay, so yes, muscle spasm is the easiest example. Wait, I was gonna make a point. Helku is so powerful in dispersing that it is not limited to the channel, large intestine channel, and not also limited to the large intestine organ. It also impacts the partner organ of the large intestine. Large intestine is yang ming, it's a yang organ. Its partner channel is the lung system, which is a yin organ. Okay, so letting go, like with a breath. Okay, when you're tense and anxious and then holding your breath, Helku might has that impact. Okay, very useful in dentistry, yes. Okay, TMJ as a stress response, yes. Okay, so also with the lung system, in Chinese medicine, the lung system also includes immunity, protective qi, wei qi. So dispersing also means expelling invasions, such as if you have an infection or nalamigan, nainitan, this promotes the wei qi, the dispersing protective qi. So it can help with infections. Okay. People with, if you have a cough or sore throat, that's in the lung system, but Helku might cause you to expel the phlegm. Okay, so physically, material, expulsion of phlegm. Energetic, it will promote sweating, breaking the sweat when you break a fever. Okay, and then you'll feel, di ba, your sweat, when you have a fever, ayoko mainit, ayoko malamig, I'm so vulnerable, I need a jacket, cover myself off, because your protective chi is not activated. Hoku activates that, and suddenly the fever breaks and you're thermoregulated. You're okay. Na-disperse na yung yung invading heat or cold. Okay, so it works on the large intestine organ, it works in the large intestine channel, it works on the yin partner, which is the lung system, especially with the dispersing. Okay, Haku is also Haku is so powerful that one of the things it moves and disperses, hindi lang yung bowels mo, but it also promotes labor, which, oh yeah, expelling the baby. The question is, are you doing it at the correct time? If the baby is unterm, we can use Haku to stimulate movement and expelling of the baby, which also means the rest of the pregnancy, it is forbidden. It is a forbidden point because it will expel the baby. Okay. And yes, there are people even in the Philippines in first-hand experience, not first-hand, first-hand hearsay, not first-hand, may hearsay that there are people in the Philippines who use this to abort babies. Oh, kung anong pinagbawal ethically, ginagawa. Mhm. Misuse of science. So, it's forbidden during pregnancy unless the baby is on term and then medyo nade-delay na and you want to promote labor, oh, this will expel things. Okay. One point as an example, ang dami niya na natututunan. Do we need to take up? Ang daming comments. One-stop shop. Oh, it can do a lot of things. Including the wrong things in the wrong situations. For people who underwent trauma, this is a point, especially one principle in trauma therapy, the body keeps score. The body remembers. And if the emotional trauma is lodged within the physical body, I mean, Haku will be one of the points that will help let go and release. Okay. Of course, there is a natural process of things. So, Randall, yung TMJ ng pasyente hindi dahil lang sa clenching the clenching and stress is galing din sa trauma, long-held emotions. If you do Hoku, one of the things they're gonna cry. They're gonna expel the emotions. It's not just gonna go dissipate. It's gonna come out. It might come out as pain initially, very painful, that they will cry, they don't understand what's going on. Cognitively, nothing's going on. I'm not feeling anything, but the bodies are just, and then expel yung mga emotional toxins, the energy on that energy level, very visceral, very raw, and then they will feel better. Hopefully. They might also feel very empty. Okay. Which leads to another point. Haku is generally not used in deficiency conditions. So, ladies, reproductive age ladies, it's your time of the month. You just let go of menstrual blood. You're feeling empty. You have a headache because you're feeling empty. If you use Haku, it will be worse because you're dissipating what is already deficient. Okay? If you're tired, you're hungry, you use Haku, baka may himatay yung tao. Okay? Kasi konti na nga, dinisipate nyo pa, di wala na natira. Okay? This is how acupuncture works. This is how the points work. Kailangan ba needle? A needle will definitely be a strong stimulus, but some people, kahit na massage lang, pressure pa lang, will have a strong impact na. The question is that impact your intended objective? So as much as we say, Patrick, Haku is a one-stop shop for all problems of the head and neck. Oh, let's think about it first. Because if the problem is deficient, weakness, tiredness, that's why we're having a headache, then this is just going to weaken further. So better, yes, Beth, for excess patterns, stagnation. Randall's asking, what if women have PCOS and they lack menstrual flow? Number one, we have to understand what the PCOS is. Even just as simple as it excess or deficiency, because looking at it from the Chinese medicine perspective, we have to yun. There are PCOS that present as excess, building up, consolidating sumosobra, like they're gonna explode. And then we have PCOS patients that are actually more of the deficiency state. Okay, so yes, we can't just treat, we need a diagnosis before we treat. Okay. Second, well, there's also the matter of I don't think the HER2 will be targeting the uterus in that way. Not this point. A different point. We'll have a different point. Okay. So if the patient has PCOS, understand, is there excess condition? Is there deficiency? And this is actually an application of the yin-yang principle. Okay? Is it yin or yang? Sobra, bawasan. Kulang, dagdagan. Don't do the opposite. Okay? Too excess, remove some, dissipate. Deficient, then we should not dissipate. It will make it worse. Okay? That's the first point. Second point is this, I don't think this is the best point to connect to the uterus for PCOS conditions. So same principle, but use a different point. It's not going to regulate that way. Okay. Someone was inquiring today, so it reminded me. It's like they want to go to they're asking about the long course, TCM10, Foundations of Chinese Medicine. It's a 10-month course. It's starting next year in March 2026. And then I said, can we have the syllabus? Okay, I sent a copy of a draft of the syllabus, not yet updated. Here's the syllabus from the previous year. And then I said, oh, you mean we're not going to acupuncture first thing? I suppose we need to study foundations. I'm like, yes. Okay. Yes. This class so far, good job, Randall, Ben, Patrick, asking all the questions. There is foundation behind all of this. So you can't just say, oh, I know a point. I have a hammer. Everything's a nail. I know how to disperse things. Well, that's all you can do. And even then, it won't work on all kinds. Disperse on the large intestine, disperse on the large intestine channel, disperse for the lungs. Don't disperse for pregnancy. Don't do that. Okay. Disperse along the large intestine channel on the head and neck only if there is excess conditions. Okay. If it does not fall under that, you either will not have any effect. So the PCOS, this might not have effect on PCOS, but also you might have the wrong effect. So headache, dizziness, lightheaded, because I just had lost my menstrual, let go of my it's my time of the month. I am deficient in menstrual blood, and then I forgot I didn't have lunch, so I'm kind of hypoglycemic. Haku, you're gonna faint. Wrong move. Are we good with Haku? Next time you have clogged nose, sore throat, and it feels stuffy and excess, use your Haku. Which brings me to, let's look, large intestine, arm Yangming channel, Haku is down here. It ends up on the face near the nose. Okay, this is actually the last point of the channel on the surface of the external channel of the superficial channel. The channel then goes inward. You see the orange dot? side of the nose. Okay, like okay. So the channel flows inward at this point, then it goes inward deep, and then it goes into the internal organs, connecting to the lungs and then eventually the large intestine. Okay, so this last point on the external channel is called yin xiang. Ying means welcome, as in welcome visitors. Xiang means fragrance, smell. Welcome the fragrance. That's the name of this point, because this is the point of the nose. It welcomes the fragrance. If I cannot completely explain it over this online video, please read the books to have more precise locations of the points. If you follow the natural curve, the natural cleft of the nasolabial, and then that's a triangular shape, and then the corner of the ala of the nose, okay, there's that small triangular space is yin xiang, yin xiang. Okay, it's WHO nomenclature. It's labeled as large intestine 20. There are 20 points on the superficial large intestine arm yang ming channel. Okay, this is the last one that we can access. So this point connects to the nose. It opens up the nose. It benefits the function of the nose, which is to smell. Okay, if it's clogged with phlegm, with mucus, this point can clear it. Will it make the mucus go away? Not necessarily. If there's very little, it might be reabsorbed, but if there's a lot, it's going to promote the flow and expelling. It's still a large intestine point. So it's very good at dispersing and dispelling. So, and then you can blow your nose and then it's gone. Okay. Interesting, no? So unlike large intestine 4, unlike HERCU, which is for the channel, the large intestine organ, the lung organ system, and then has impact all throughout the body, Yin Xiang works on the nose. Can it do anything else? No, but it's very good at what it can do. It works on the nose. Do we have to think if it's excess or deficiency? No, it will benefit the nose. What if it's stuck and stagnant? It will benefit the nose. It will clear. What if there's deficient? It will clear the nose. Okay. So when I explain this in the long course, we talk about governors and we talk about barangay captains, which is like barangay captain, immediate effect. Like, oh, where's the problem? Here, it's right here, local. We will fix it now. But then that's all it can do. The governor, you have to write to the governor, secretary, and then we will coordinate with federal and with local, and then but it's when it decides to move, it's gonna be very powerful. Okay. And it might activate so many things along the way for it to move. Okay. Where's this one? Local. So can HERCU impact the nose? Yes, but in a bit longer, gradual, roundabout way. Okay. This one impacts the nose, but it's going to be quick. It's also going to be short term. So after a few hours, if you really have lung, throat, okay, immunity, Wei Qi, protective Qi issues, Yin Xiang is going to be very limited, very symptomatic in what it does. Can we combine points? Oh, yes. That's the principle of point prescription, point combination, point selection. Let's have a quick short term para ma-relief agad. Okay, and then a slow, gradual, but long-term benefit for the lung system through its partner large intestine system, through its large intestine channel, through its large intestine point. Let's use HERCU. Does it make sense? Finger pressure. Oh, finger pressure can work here. Just acupressure this point can work. Mm-mm. But wait, Patrick, spoiler alert, there's a better point. There's another point. So I'll answer that question. Mika has a question. Do we use thinner needles for facial acupuncture? Okay. So sometimes that matters. It does, di ba? The face has finer skin, finer pores. So especially if we're doing more dermatologic aesthetic facial acupuncture, we use the finer needles. But if our goal is, barado ilong, may sore throat, okay, may ubosupon, we'll just use the standard needles are fine. Okay. Um, there's also the matter of depth of the point. So everyone do this. Like if you just lightly touch your first web, Haku, you're not stimulating it. You have to press. So it's about 5 millimeters to a whole 1 centimeter deep. Okay. Versus this point, Yin Xiang, is very superficial. This is 5 millimeters is very deep. It might be too deep for this point. Okay. Which then informs us of the tool we're going to use. So a standard needle, we call it 1 inch needle. It's about 25 millimeters. The 1 inch 25 millimeter needle will be very good for Herku, but might be too long for Yingxiang. So we'll use the 1/2 inch, the 12.5 millimeter needle for the face. The gauge of the needle might also be a consideration. So yun nga, if we're just working on skin for facial, I will use finer needles. We'll use the Japanese or the Korean ones. But if it's more for a medical condition like, sipon ubo, you have colds and you have congestion, I'll use the standard gauge. Okay. That said, it's going to be very fine also. It's not going to cause bleeding, leave scars, even on the face. Okay. Are we good? You see, I chose these points and we only done 2 points because there's so many principles behind this, so many questions behind this that we need to think about and discuss. So if a person comes with sore throat, or with nasal congestion, I will use Haku. Maybe I'll use this first. I will use Yingxiang first. And in 5 minutes, if it's not yet cleared, I think we need backup. Let's talk to the barangay captain. Did you solve the problem? Oh, you're not powerful enough. We need backup. Let's send a letter to the governor. Let's talk to Haku. It'll be slow, but it'll be more powerful. And it'll also be longer lasting. Can you use acupuncture seeds here, meaning blunt point here? Yes. Have a seed there and then press the seed so that it's going to be more focused. Okay? Because here's the option. Sige, use your thumb. You're pressing everything. And pressing everything stimulates everything, and the stimulus is not clear. Use a smaller finger. Okay, this might be better. Use a seed. So get a small pellet and then press on it. That will be more focused, and therefore the signal will be clearer that we're activating yin xiang and not the whole area. Okay? Or we can use even finer. That's why the idea of the needle is not just if we think of the needle as a massage tool, then it's a very, very fine massage tool. Pinpoint massage tool. Okay, that's the one theory of the historical evolution. How did we get from massage to acupuncture? Allergic rhinitis, really? Yes, Dr. Ria, because yin xiang is going to be very symptomatic. It will clear your nose. Sure. It will remove the sinusitis, the rhinitis. It will remove the mucus. Sure. Very symptomatic treatment. which leads to the question, are we treating the root cause? We're not. We're not. Okay. If you think about it, even the Hoku, which is the large intestine point on the large intestine channel that impacts the large intestine system, Hoku is also not treating the root cause. It helps clear the channel up to here. The root cause will be in the lungs. In which case, we'll have to treat the lungs. We'll probably have to use lung points. Good question, Doc Rhea. Acupuncture can be very symptomatic in its treatment.
2%.
But let's be clear, we're only treating, we call it roots and branches. We're treating the branch, we're not treating the roots. So I do this allergic rhinitis, it's gonna clear. An hour later, 30 minutes later, it's gonna repeat. Why? Because I didn't treat the root. It's the lungs that are problematic. The lung system. If it's related to immunity, then it's also the lung system. So we have to treat that. We just have to be clear on what we're doing. We're not saying that it's not valid to use yin xiang. Oh, it's valid as symptomatic treatment. But that's just it. That's symptomatic treatment. We have to get into the the deeper diagnosis, the root cause. Oh, Pat, here's the spoiler. How do we treat yin xiang? Thumb, small finger, let's have a pellet, let's have a needle. But here's another option. Let's use a different point. Nearby, where the bone reaches the cartilage, just follow the nasolabial groove, okay, is pi tong. Pi tong translates as nose passage, nose movement. Okay. WHO nomenclature, complicated. MHN14. HN stands for head and neck. 14, it's number 14 there. Okay, I'll explain that later. But pitong is, the thing is, this is not on the large intestine channel. This is not on the lung channel. It's not on any channel. But it's just a point that is very powerful in what it does. It makes the nose passage. It stimulates the passage of things through the nose. It makes movement. So it will also clear the nose. If we use not a needle, but let's use massage, and this is very accessible for massage. So let's use a massage. And when we massage Pi Tong, we can massage all the way down to Yin Xiang, to the large intestine 20. So why don't we massage everything now? And in doing so, we will have that quick, acute barangay captain power of, oh, let's clear the nose passage and welcome the fragrance. And yes, Doc Ria, it's symptomatic, but it has its benefits. Pitong, if we're using acupuncture, we can use both, but it's a lot of needles. I would rather that I teach the patient to massage it and then massage it on their own. We don't even have to use a needle. Okay. 2 points for the nose. This one will also have impact on the other sinuses. Frontal sinus, maybe, and even up to here. If we extend it all the way to the top, then the frontal sinus here pala. This is the maxillary sinuses. Okay, so sinusitis, rhinitis. So, Ria, rhinitis lang ba o sinusitis? It's often interrelated. It's often the same story in different parts of the body. So let's just do this and tell all the barangay captains to do their jobs, clear their shit. Okay, up to here, up here. Okay. Which brings, this one I have slides prepared. Which brings me to this concept. In studying acupuncture anatomy, there are different types of points. there are the meridian points, and most of the points are meridian points, meaning there are meridians, there is flows and passageways of qi, known, studied, identified, located, and largely fixed. Okay, like highways, this is how to get from point A to point B. Go there. It's not gonna change. What if there's traffic? That's still the no. What if there's no traffic? It'd be nice, but it's not gonna change. What if it's okay? So there are points that are on the meridians. You can look at it the other way, which is the meridian, the points make up the meridian. Okay. We can think of meridian points also as like not so much the stretches of the road, but the connections, the toll gates, which is I live in Pampanga, so I'm always on NLEX. Balintawak toll gate, northbound entrance. Okay. Sometimes we go to Mindanao Avenue, then that's the next toll gate. But that doesn't change. It's always there. Okay. Do I want to get off at SM Pampanga, San Fernando exit? Do I want to get off Ayala Mall, Angeles exit? That's always there. Okay. So these are the points that when we study the anatomy, kailangan i-memorize, aralan i-memorize, and then they're always there. Then there are extra meridian points. These points this is the lighthouse in Batanes. Extra meridian points are not on meridians. But, so parang okay. So like the highways, okay, if I want to go to SM, I'll go to SM Pampanga. Or to Ayala Mall, there's Angeles. So I get off at and it's always going to be there. And foot traffic, vehicular traffic is always there. So that's why they built the SM there, so that they have a lot of customers. Okay. So the meridians build the points, build the meridians support the points. But there's some points that are not on meridians, like this lighthouse. And yet it's so important and powerful that people will find a way to get there. And it is going to be powerful. If you've ever been to places like this, yung mga mountain getaway where the site is amazing, but the trek getting there, okay, not convenient. No highways, no roads. And yet it's so powerful to get there. Okay. So Pitong is one of those points. It doesn't belong to any meridian, but it's so powerful, it's impacting the nose. It might even be more powerful than the actual meridian point that is Ingxiang, LI-20. LI-20 has the backing of the whole LI. Pitong can do it without backing. Okay, so there are meridian points. Most of them are meridian points, and they will be identified by the channel they're on. LI-20 is on the large interesting channel. Pitong is what's the code for Pitong? I forgot. I don't memorize Pitong. It's easier for me to know the Chinese name. Pitong is MHN14. I had to look it up. Okay, I just remember it as Pitong. Because the MHN14 doesn't tell me anything. Diba? It's on the head and neck. Number 14. I don't know. There's so many of them there. Meridian points, extra meridian points. And then there is what the Chinese call shi points, which literally means yes. And the explanation is this is a point that doesn't exist unless it does exist. Under certain conditions, it pops up. Like yung mga pop-up stores, yung mga bazaar stalls. There's no structure, there's no regular, and it's not always there. Okay? When you I don't know if this is a joke or it's real in the Chinese like traditional text. If you press it and it's painful and the patient will go, yes, dyan masakit. Then there exists a point because of the current condition. Is this what we define as a trigger point? Because it's triggerable, because it exists. Randall, okay. Meridian points are always there. and they always have a certain level of triggerability. Okay. If you're normal, they're probably not as triggerable. Like, yeah, I'm here. Like, everyone do this. Okay. Like, oh, Helku, is it painful or is it just, yeah, there's chi, there's a sensation. Okay. Which also means meridian points can be used for diagnosis. Like, if it's suave, oh yes, because there is a point there. There is an accumulation of chi there. But is it painful? No naman. There's pressure because you're pressing on it. Then we know that that Hulku is fine. Maybe your large intestine is also fine. Okay, but if gonta pa lang, aray, 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 wait, what are you doing? The hell? Then it tells us that there's something wrong. More pressure, it's painful, then you probably have that excess condition. What if I massage it and I soothe it and I dissipate the chi there? Hi, that feels good. Oh, then that means you have an excess condition on your large intestine channel or large intestine organ, and dissipating it is a good idea. Okay. Asher points only exist when there are problems. Okay. So yes, if things are triggerable, then we trigger there. It's a trigger point. Let's use it. If there's no trigger point, then let's use a known fixed location point, meridian point. Are we good with this concept? There is also deficient. Yes, if pain, good question, Pat. If pain as a condition of imbalance and disharmony, if pain can lead to excess, then pain is also can be, if pain is caused by excess, pain is also caused by deficiency. So which then leads us to a diagnostic principle, which is, yeah, is it excess or is it deficient? If it's inflamed, if it's swollen, if it's spastic, okay, it's hard. If it's hard, if adding more stimulus, if adding pressure to it makes it worse, then that's an excess pain. If moving it and dissipating it and spreading it out, promoting circulation away from it, and it feels good, then it's an excess pain. Then, yin and yang principle, the opposite is true. If it's a deficiency condition, it's probably not swollen. It might even be like pale, okay, lack of circulation, pale, softer than usual, okay. And then you press on it, and the deep pressure, the hard pressure is like, oh, thank you for the pressure. Thank you for giving me energy. Thank you for stimulating me. Then it's deficiency. Okay. And then we say, why don't we move it? Why don't we tire it out? Oh, I don't like. It will make it worse. Then it's a deficiency. Diba? If we move the chi away from it and it feels worse, it's a deficiency. If it moves the chi towards it and if we gather and consolidate the chi and it feels better, and then it's a deficiency. So this is that principle of before we treat, we need to have a clear diagnosis. So deficiency, less chi, not enough chi, let's give it more chi. And even acupuncture, so a point like Helku is powerful dispersing, reducing, expelling. Not good for deficiencies, better for excess conditions. Okay, so if there is, okay, so let me finish this on the Asher meridian points, extra meridian points, Asher points. So Asher points are the lowest level. Let's look where there is a trigger and then work on the trigger points. It's very random. It's considered the lowest level. It's better to know where the points are, both extra meridian points and meridian points. At least those are fixed locations. They're always there. Okay. So, and then, mm, of course, before that, diagnosis. Okay. And the thing is, these points can also be used for diagnosis. Okay. These points, and then the fixed points, especially meridian points, are known to have specific functions. So Herku is an example of a point that disperses. So we use it for excess conditions, use it for dispersing, don't use it for deficiency. Does it mean we have points that are good for promoting chi, strengthening, replenishing? Yes. So don't use those for excess conditions, use those for deficiency conditions. And then we have some points like yun nga, Pitong and Inxiang, which are both ways. Okay? Basta, I will benefit. Bahala na si barangay captain. Kulang, dadagdagan. Sobra, babawasan. You don't have to overthink. You don't have to think it. It's gonna work. It's just gonna balance it out both ways. Either way. Okay? Some points are easy that way. Like Inxiang, basta the nose. Problem with the nose, Inxiang. Okay? Excess deficient, no need to ask. It will benefit the nose. Pitong, similar. Okay. Okay. What time is it? We have 10 more minutes. I have 2 more points to sakto lang ang natin. Ang content natin. So I chose this guy, Opa. There's a reason because of his classes. So here's another point on the face. In Tang, in means seal, as in the emperor's seal, the seal that you put on a letter. Tang means temple. So the seal temple is in between the eyebrows. Above the nose, in between the eyebrows. It's referred to as the third eye point. Okay. So when we look at the point, one thing we can ask is what are its local effects? Oh yes, it will have local benefits. It's a barangay cap. It's first of all, it's a MHN3. It's an extra meridian point. So we know it's powerful, even without the backing of a channel or a specific internal organ that it behind it. Okay. So first we ask, what are the local benefits of this point? Oh, if you have a frontal headache, if you have sinusitis in the front, okay, frontal sinus, it also benefits the eyes and it benefits the nose, which is basically if the in tang is the epicenter, then how far is the earthquake gonna impact? So frontal sinus, eyes, nose. So you have a headache because of your eyes. You've been reading too much. You're tired out. Photophobia, light sensitivity. Okay. Then insiang. Do we need a needle? Puede. To insert there, you have to get the muscle, pinch it there, and then we will insert a needle there. Okay. Yun nga, Randall has good for migraines. Migraines, puede. Migraines related to sinusitis, to the eyes, to the nose. Okay. Yes, because some people have migraines on the side of the head. So this is far. Hindi na abot. Next barangay na yan. Okay, spoiler karandel. That's the next point. So this is for headaches, migraines here in this epicenter, okay, area of responsibility. But in Tang, as a temple and as a seal, third eye point, also has a more subtle energetic impact, which is it's very good for calming the mind, calming the spirit. Okay. So acupuncture, yes. Massage, it's also a very superficial point. That's why we don't need a needle. We can just massage it. You can tap it. Okay. Tap it gently. Okay. Get a massage tool. Get the smaller jade roller here. Okay. Oh, if you want to buy jade rollers, talk to Miss Monica of Manila. She has a shop of crystals and beautiful stones. Yan. So, in Tang, also for calming the mind. So if you have a migraine, Randall, my question will be, is it physical, as in light, heat? Okay. Is it more emotional, spiritual even? Okay. Intang will be very powerful and calming, very accessible. Okay. Mental, too many things going around and you lack focus. Then remind this point, can you gather here and focus? Focus the mind. Pay attention. Okay. It can also be used the other extreme, the other side, which is, are you falling asleep and you need to wake up? Then you can stimulate a bit there. Okay. But of course, if the reason you're falling asleep during a lecture is because you lack sleep, stimulating it, what is the natural response? Matulog ka na nga. You would go to sleep. And then when you're fresh, then you'll wake up and clear, no more headache, no more migraine, and I'll very clear and focused because that's what you need. Okay. It's not gonna do anything supernatural. You've been awake for over 24 hours and then you're falling asleep and you do this, it's gonna send you really to sleep. Hmm. Okay. I chose this picture, this oppa, because if we trace, so from the eyebrows, everyone do this. From eyebrows moving out, if you go to the side, there will be a bony ridge and then a muscular depression. That is the next point. It's an extrameridian point, MH19, MHN19. The more important is named Taiyang. The great yang can also translate as the sun. So this is actually very close to the gallbladder channel. Gallbladder, arm, leg, leg, xiao yang channel. We'll discuss that in module 3. Okay. So the side of the head is another focus of migraines. Taiyang meaning the sun. Too yang, too much light, too much fire, too much daytime, too much activity. So those kinds of headache can impact here. Okay. So this is a point that you can also stimulate. Needle, yes, it's quite fleshy. But if even without a needle, just press it. This point is a bit more nuanced, like more nuanced, which is, what do you like? Do you like solid, steady pressure? Then you're deficient. Solid, steady pressure will build up the chi. Or do you like moving, dispersing pressure? A moving, dispersing massage, which means you are in a excess stagnant state and you want to disperse and move. Okay. In which case you can also use the other powerful disperser on the head, Ku. Okay. So Haku to disperse in general all the way to the head. And then this point here, local, barangay captain, disperse, especially in the side of the head. Okay, look at what muscles are connected to the side of the head. It can go all the way to the jaw. And actually, this is very close to the gallbladder arm Shaoyang channel, which we will discuss. So any problems with the gallbladder channel will also disperse this. And the gallbladder connects to the jaw, to the TMJ, down the neck also. So Taiyang, the sun. On Ria's question, at the onset of headache or migraine, how long will it take effect once stimulated? It depends. The Chinese medicine is very much more about preventive, more powerful the preventive and early detection. So, the thing with migraines, headaches, they don't occur randomly. They occur with a pattern. onset. So we have to identify what which means we have to go into a diagnosis state, which is like, oh, it's hot. You know, it's hot. There's gonna be traffic and noise. That emotionally you're like that. So, now pa lang, ganito ka na. Don't get to that point where the sunlight is gonna get to you. And then the intang is gonna build up in the epicenter here. Okay? Na kulang ka sa tulog, and then it's your time of the month, and so you're very deficient, and then it's gonna hit you here. Oh, I did it now pa lang, let's stimulate this. Okay, and maybe let's wear some shades, and maybe let's not go out into the heat. Let's bring our Jisoo life and fan ourselves. Oh, and hydrate, and no coffee today. No coffee today. Because at the end of the day, Ria, a lot of this can be can be downgraded to symptomatic treatment, which means the problem is already created and exists, and now you're trying to make habol, you're trying to compensate with this, and you're expecting this to solve the problem when it could have been very well prevented. Diba? That's a main thing in Chinese medicine. We want to be natural. We want to be holistic. Holistic means, oh, we can see the pattern. You know what happened last month, my time of the month? Kulang ko sa tulog. And then what was the heat index? And then I had to go out and traffic. Guess what time of the month it is this month? Oh, maybe let's just Zoom na lang. Let's have a video call. I don't want to get into the traffic. What's the heat today? Okay, maybe no coffee today. Let's just have some cooling chrysanthemum tea. Oh. Can we talk later na lang after the sun comes down? Or are you going to expect these points to do magic? And then your question is, how effective, how fast is it going to work? It's symptomatic. It's already too late. If it already happened, then the thing is that let's try to resolve it. But if I had a patient like this now, doc, migraine, and it's time of the month and it's so hot, it's like, okay, lie down. I'll put you in a dark room. I'm gonna confiscate your phone. No stimulus, no noise. Let's put you in a cool room. Let's drink water muna. No needles pa yun, Ria. Wala pang ano. It's like, calm down, cool down, relax. Oh. Sige, take. Oh, your phone's now. I'm gonna put your phone on silent. Your boss can wait. More stress. Diba? Wala pang needles yan. Because we know that favorite saying, multifactorial problems, multidisciplinary solution. So many things contributed to the problem. Okay? So many things can help. But let's also not expect now, oh, I know the perfect one point that will solve all your problems. Not gonna happen. This is my final slide. And we're a bit over 9 o'clock. So let me just show this. Okay, this is next week. We will study the meridian system more, the layout, the logical system of how things are laid out. And we will have to get into the channels and meridians. And then I'll introduce the 6 divisions principle. I've mentioned some of it. Yang Ming, Tai Yang, Xiao Yang. Three of the divisions are Yang, and then 3 of the divisions are Yin. Tai Yin, Xiao Yin, Chui Yin. Okay. And then we will get into a few more acupuncture points to apply all of this. Okay. And then homework. Wait, homework. I'll send this on Viber na lang. Okay? List of points, please. The points that we did today, please look at the uploaded in our Google Drive. And then here's also another set of points. Oh, mas marami. It'll be easier. Okay, I'm thinking maybe we'll remove the last line, the run points. Okay, for the week after. LI11, LI10, stomach, 3 stomach points, 3 spleen points. Maybe I'll remove the run. That's a lot now. Okay. Oh, this is a slide, wrong slide. That's enough. I'm just using that as a template for the next. Okay, screen sharing stops. If you need to go, you may go ahead. Okay, where the recording is still continuing. Let's just have a short round of questions. If there are any more questions. Picture. Thanks, Gab. Bug picture. Don't go yet. Turn on your cameras. I'm gonna get a screen cap of our Miss Wilma, ayusin mo lighting mo so that the light is in your face and not the shadows. Si Bill Jade, umaga naman dyan. Maganda ang Okay. Shobe Nicole, taas mo pa. Taas mo pa. Show us your beautiful neck. Puros noo. Change your angle. Okay. May hahabol pa ba? Miss Monica? Oh, Doc Paulo. Ikaw na lang. Pakita ka naman. Are we ready? Ready, ready. 1, 2, 3. One more. Thumbs up. Heart. Heart. Wacky. Wala na, wala na, wala na. Okay na yan, okay na yan. Thank you. If you need to go, you may go. But if you have questions pa, let me check the chat. Do we have any questions? Thanks for reminding me, Gab. Ano, Pat? Okay ba?
All good, Doc. Thank you. Thank you.
Marianne. Rian, may take
Yes,
home?
good evening. Hi, Doc. All good. Thank you so much.
Gagamit mo na ba?
Yes, medyo overwhelming pero exciting, Doc. Ang galing ng discussion tonight.
Sige.
Thank you.
Hoy, kasama ka sa medical mission.
Yes.
May gagamitin kang
Looking
point.
forward. Okay, yes, Doc. Nag-notes na ako, Doc.
LI4. Make sure they're not deficient. Kung babae yan, ask the time of the month. If they're feeling deficient, don't use LI4. If they're pregnant, don't use LI4.
Okay, noted. Thank you so much, Doc.
Wala na, wala na. After this, I will upload so you can review and then prepare for next week. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this. We'll end the recording now.